What's up, everybody? Welcome to Debunking 8 Credit Myths. In this video, we're going to go over 8 of the most common myths in the personal credit and credit repair industry. So let's get started. So the number one biggest misconception, not in order, because these 8 are not in order in any way, but one of the biggest myths that I'm seeing now in 2023 and moving forward is surrounding CPNs. If you don't know what a CPN is, then go ahead and jump to Google and do a little bit of research. But a CPN is in many ways similar to a social security number. That's what they call them, right? So they say that you can purchase and create a CPN profile. And in doing so, it can replace your bad credit. So imagine you have bad credit and you're looking to get into, let's say, an apartment complex and your credit score simply is too low, or you're wanting to get credit cards or a loan and your credit score isn't simply good enough. There's so many negatives on there. Or maybe you're trying to buy a car. What these credit gurus are saying is you can purchase and create a CPN. And by doing so, you can utilize that instead of your social security number. The CPN is supposed to have a total profile built out to showcase history and credit and all that. The issue is the entire industry is in debate on whether CPNs are legal or not legal. Most people say CPNs are legal and utilize that promote that celebrities use them to protect their identity. The truth is, CPNs, when purchased and created to put in place of your social security number to obtain funding or anything, is fraud. You are obtaining the CPN in a fraudulent way in order to get something out of it. These experts will tell you to put your CPN number in place of your social security number and that you should get approvals. Well, here's the issue is lenders, if you're looking to get loans or credit cards or go through an agency where they are to get you these type of funding products, they have the ability to recognize a CPN file over a social security number file. If you are a broker and you are submitting CPN files, that is one of the quickest ways for you to have your contract terminated and you fired. If you are an individual utilizing CPNs to apply for things and you are attempting to get loans or credit cards, your application will be declined and you can possibly be blacklisted from that agency. CPNs are not credible ways to get lending in any way. So that's the first one debunked. No. People can argue. If you want to argue below in the comments and tell me CPNs are legal, that's fine. CPNs in and of itself are not illegal. The way you utilize a CPN is whether it's fraud or not. Next, number 2, if you get a credit sweep, you can qualify for funding in 90 days. I see credit sweeps being promoted more and more and more, especially since the consequences in the aftermath of the pandemic, where the majority of us, even the ones with good credit, had some issues with credit, right? We had some credit challenges during the pandemic and after. So a lot of ways that fake credit gurus or just the not so good ones promote are credit sweeps. What is a credit sweep? Well, a credit sweep is completely illegal, first of all. And I'm going to give you an idea of how these experts are telling people how to obtain these credit sweeps. So in order to get your credit completely swept, so credit sweep means you are cleaning your credit. You are sweeping away everything, though. It's not just removing the negatives. It's removing everything from your credit report. And so what a credit guru will tell you is they will recommend that you go down to the police station and file a police report. They will tell you a certain way in which to say this and present it so you're not pretty much submitting a falsified police report, because in the end, What the guru is saying is you're going to go to the police station and you're going to say you were looking over your credit report and there were some things on there that you did not recognize. What you're doing is setting up a situation to make it seem like someone has stolen your identity. And obviously, if this was real, if someone has legit stolen your identity and done negative and opened up accounts and then didn't pay for them, that absolutely qualifies and is legal to get a credit sweep. And you will need to, depending on what's on there, right? But when these gurus are telling you to go down to the police station and give a false report, not only are you giving a false report to police, which is its own issues, but now that police report, they're going to use that as the document to go to the credit bureaus and have your stuff removed. So this is fraud. Credit sweeps are completely illegal. But now let me go to the part that they say once you get this credit sweep, you can qualify for funding in 90 days. It's simply not true. So once you get a credit sweep, that means everything is gone. And the majority of good, reputable lenders, banks, credit unions, online, or whatever, they want 2 years of credit history. So if you completely sweep your credit history away and now you have no credit history, you're going to have to build it back up. So then what these gurus will do is they will add primary trade lines and authorized user accounts to show a history, to show length of history, to show a utilization. This is only a temporary help, as in most AU accounts only stay for 2 or 3 months. So what they're doing is they're removing everything and then adding really, in a way, fake history to create this 720, I call it a fake 720 credit score. And so the goal there is then you can go and obtain funding. But the truth is you will likely get declined by any of the more reputable places and by any higher credit approvals because you simply don't have the credit history. You took the credit sweep and now you've put yourself back at zero, and it's going to take you at least 2 years to reestablish your credit history and to reestablish that you are a credit-worthy client. Number 3, having subprime lines can't hurt your approval odds. Now, this is interesting, and I want you guys to pay very close attention. Now, we all know that when you have subprime credit, in order to grow or show that you are a credit-worthy applicant, you must obtain lines and pay on them. Most of the time, people are utilizing subprime lines. Examples of subprime line would be the self lender, any of those lending programs that help you get on your feet. Secured cards are also like Open Sky. That's a subprime line. Also, things like Afterpay and Klarna and all those, if any of those report, those are subprime lines. So what happens is if you have bad credit and you're in the process of repairing your credit, you're utilizing these type of lines to grow your score, to show that you have proven credit history, that you can pay your bills on time and frequently. So once you have established that, here's the cold hard truth, is if you go to a reputable lender and say, hey, I have 6 months, 8 months, 2 years of credit history, but it's all subprime lines, you may still be declined. The reason being is prime lenders like Chase, like Amex, those are prime lenders. They want you to have prime credit. They want you to have good credit. And so by having subprime lines on your credit history and your credit score, that can result in you getting declined for prime offers. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, Ashley, then how the heck do I improve my credit and how the heck do I get these better offers? And guys, it's steps. It's one step after another, one step after another. That's why it's very important with who you trust and who you work with. If you are currently in credit repair, or if you're exploring credit repair options, or if you were like me and you hired 3 different credit professionals, paid thousands of dollars for them to just simply not do what they said they could do, we have vetted personal credit experts you can utilize. So if you have personal credit issues and you need a reputable, real way to recover, we have vetted experts for you. If not, utilize this training and look out for the bad ones. So I'm not saying that if you're working with a credit repair person and they're having you add subprime lines, that that's wrong. Absolutely not what I'm saying. That may be the only way that you can improve your credit. But keep in mind, as you're transitioning and as you are growing from that subprime score to a prime score, and if you don't know the difference, again, please Google subprime, prime scores, right? Once you move to a prime score, right, it's then a new set of issues that you have to continue to grow from. So keep in mind, subprime will help you grow, but it can also hold you back. So keep that in mind and discuss that with your expert. Number 4, adding authorized users or trade lines guarantees you get funding. Again, if you have followed or watched any of my videos, it's the word guarantees that gets it for me. I do suggest adding authorized users or trade lines depending on the credit profile. As an example, authorized user accounts or primary trade lines are great and effective if your client has a high utilization or a high debt to income. If that's the reason that they're being held back from getting approvals, these temporary fixes can do wonders. The next step is purchasing or adding the right ones on, and that's why you want to work with a professional. So AU accounts, authorized user accounts, usually stay on a person's credit profile for 2 to 3 months, and it gives the opportunity to better the file. So let me give you an example. Let's say I owe $50,000 in credit card debt, and that has me at a 90% utilization. My utilization is just way too high. I need help, right? I'm getting declined everywhere because my utilization is so high. So I contact a personal credit expert that does things legally. They take a look at my history and they let me know what authorized user accounts I should add. So that would be the credit limit, the age, and the percentage usage, okay? And by adding the correct authorized user accounts, what that will do is, let's say I add an authorized user account of $50,000 and they're at 0 utilization. I just added a 50K line. So by adding 50K to what I owe, say I already owe 50K, but I added an extra 50K. So that is going to decrease my utilization. So I might have been at 90, but now I'm at 60. Don't kill me on that math. I'm being rough here. But that's how you utilize them. But by adding authorized user accounts and trade lines, it won't guarantee that you get funding. Again, guarantees need to have a written contract where you get your money back or the professional continues to work for you. By simply stating, hey, I guarantee you get funding, that is not a real guarantee. Do not work with anybody ever that offers a guarantee without some type of contract, without some type of written agreement. Next, number 5, having bad personal credit doesn't affect getting business loans. I see this pushed often by business credit specialists and experts. The truth of the matter is, whether it's a business credit or a personal, whether it's a business loan or a personal loan, your personal credit is going to be looked at. Whether it's a merchant cash advance or an SBA or a bank loan, your personal credit is going to be looked at. So if you do in fact have bad personal credit, that will affect you getting business loans. In fact, if your credit is under a 650, with most lenders, you will only be offered a merchant cash advance, which is a daily payment advance. It's not a loan. It also can be called a revenue-based loan or a working capital funding option. Okay. Bad personal credit will hurt you. Bad personal credit will get you lower offers, higher rates, and lower terms. We're talking about super aggressive advances with bad credit. So don't let anyone tell you that by having bad personal credit, it doesn't matter. It will affect you in qualifying for business loans. And every single owner inside your organization, they all matter. So depending on the lender in certain programs, you need 100% ownership. Now let's go on to number 6. Pay your credit cards before the due date to grow your credit. So many of you may know this one already, but there is a difference between the due date and the report date. I know I was taught about the due date growing up. And growing up, I was a child of the 90s. I didn't get a credit card until the 2000s. So back in the day, we were taught to pay your balance in full or leave very little before the due date. But the truth is, if you want to secure your credit in the strongest possible way, number 1, you want to put all of your bills on auto pay. And number two, you want to pay them before the report date. The report date is when, as an example, your credit card, your report date is when your credit card will report to the credit bureaus. So if your report date is on the 15th, but your due date is on the 25th, and every month you wait until the 25th to pay, that means on the report date every month, you're carrying that high balance and then you're paying it off before the due date. If you switch your payments from due date to before the reporting date, now you are showing a lower utilization and a lower balance every month just by switching up your payment date. That's where you want. How do you find the reporting date? You can look at your statement or you can call up the credit card themselves. But we want to switch from making our payments by the due date to switching to making them by the report date. Now, if you want to make a second payment after the report date, you can make another payment before the due date. Number 7, you should not use personal credit cards to grow your business. I don't know why someone started this myth. This is the way I look at it. You can utilize personal and business credit and get the most out of both worlds. Why say no and close the door on funding opportunities? The truth is, many of us have to use our personal credit cards to fund our business when we're first getting started because our business is new and our business is not only not showing enough revenue over time, but it's not showing any creditworthiness. Revenue and creditworthiness and showing consistency takes time for anyone. So when you're first getting started, don't beat yourself up if you're using personal funds. That's what most everyone has done. Russell Brunson, he used personal funds to get started. And I know the guy that got him his first loan to start ClickFunnels. These do not get confused or misled by these gurus that don't have any money in their bank account that's telling you to do or not do certain things. Absolutely utilize personal credit cards. And yes, they can be a deduction. Make sure you keep your records and speak to your CPA. So if someone's telling you to not use your personal credit cards, they're pretty much saying for you to say no to growth and expansion if that's a part of your goal. So keep that in mind. There's no wrong or bad or negative about using personal credit cards. The majority of us use personal funds to fund our startup and to grow and to find that success. Next, you are guaranteed approvals with a 720 plus FICO. So there's two things going on here. First of all, we already talked about my belief with the word guarantee. I hate that word. Yes, I'm going to use the H word. I hate it. It's terrible, right? There's two parts to this. Obviously, you know how I feel about guarantees, so I don't need to dive into that again on this video. But the issue is many of us have fake 720 FICOs. I call them the Snapchat filter of credit scores. So earlier, you heard me talk about a credit sweep and how they add authorized users and primary accounts to show a strong credit score. There's a lot of you that are walking around with under 2 years of credit history with a 720 score, and you think that you are going to qualify for that $1 million. There's so many people pushing, so many fake experts pushing the agenda on social media that if you have a 720 credit score, the sky is the limit. You can get anything. Money will just fall into your lap. That's like 2% true. Having a 720 credit score is definitely great. The 720 plus scores do qualify for the lowest rates, but you could have a fake score. If you don't have 5 revolving prime lines, if you don't have 5, 10, 15 years of credit history, if you don't have a solid mix of credit, you have a fake 720 FICO score. So that 720 FICO that you're so proud of can still be just as weak as no credit score or a bad credit score. Believe it or not. I know I probably just got people busting out like, no, Ashley, you full of crap. You're a liar. It's true. If you have under 2 years of credit history, or if you only have prime, subprime, or if you only have authorized users on your credit profile, and that's your credit score, you have a fake 720 score, and you will not be approved the same way that other 720 scores that like our grandparents have, like our grandparents or our parents with a 720 score, they have 30, 40 years or 20, 30, 40 years of credit history. That's a real 720 score. But you being 18 or 20 and you have one credit card with a limit of $1,000 and you've been rocking that for a few years, that's not a real credit score. So keep in mind that the credit score can still be misleading. It can still not get you what you're being promised. So be aware of that. So now that I've gone over the 8 common myths here in the personal credit industry, keep in mind, if you are currently in credit repair and you are now realizing the person you are in credit repair is probably not the expert for you, if you're realizing they're doing illegal or gray area hacks or telling you to do things that you shouldn't, you can absolutely fire them now. If you're needing or actively looking for a vetted personal credit expert, we have a few that we will absolutely recommend to you depending on your situation. A little backstory about me: I left an abusive relationship, over a decade ago, it feels like at this point, but not, probably like 7 years ago, right? And when I left, I had terrible credit. I spent the next 5 years hiring 3 different professionals and paid them, I believe, $4,500 total. And each one made my credit score worse. Then I hired the right professional. And after 18 months, this professional was able to clean up my credit score. I had credit issues. My mother's credit profile was mixed in with mine. I had other issues where there were inaccuracies. So, and keep in mind, credit repair takes time. I didn't even bring this up, and it really should be a bonus 9th one, is when people are promising credit repair in 30, 45 days, 90 days. That is so dangerous, and it's not real. Even if your credit score can do that quick jump, it will very quickly go back down. These are quick fixes that are so quick, and they're not fixing anything. They will put you in a worse situation than you started. So if you have a horror story, I would love to hear about it. If you have any questions, concerns, you could comment, or you can even send me an email. But please hit the like, subscribe, and check out my other videos where I debunk common things that are taught or spread by fake experts and the real ways to accomplish your goals. Have a great day.